we can see John Kennedy really going crook.
Very unhappy with that quarter. Jimmy Cracker, 20 metres out, hook shot is great. Lewis with the left from 40 metres, great kick. Alexos to Keane, who is 55 metres out, sinks the left slipper and goes! John Kennedy's North Melbourne at home.
But there's a very disappointed Ron Alexander.
To centre half back, and Wells is in the middle. I wonder if he could go head to head with Judd.
So it's McIntosh and Seaby in the ruck to start this contest here at the Dome this afternoon. Stengline can't get it out. Ball locked in, and we'll get another ball up. The umpires this afternoon, Michael Vozzo, Matthew James and Matthew Head.
Stengline going straight to Daniel Harris. He's picked up first possession.
And he kicks it wide to McIntosh, who gets the first possession with Cox on the bench. Seaby starting in the ruck for the West Coast. Slides it inside 50. Rosa gets back. Takes the mark for the Eagles. Kerr having another outstanding season, second and third in the Brownlow the last couple of years to Prittis. And then a long kick forward by Schofield, playing just his second game this afternoon. Finds Seaby, centering kick, but no one really home. Bouncing ball, and Ferrito will get there first. Archer lays a little Shepherd. Ferrito wide to Rawlings. Simpson. And he takes the mark, but the umpires found something behind play, and it might be coming back against Archer for his Shepherd.
No, Dwayne, I think it was actually against Selwood on Brent Harvey in the middle of the ground.
That's the one. That's the one. And Selwood's got the job at Harvey. Went to him immediately at the first bounce and did interfere. Good decision by the umpire.
Brent Harvey, second favourite for the Brownlow this year, heads to Petrie. Speaking of good years, and he may have marked within range, although he doesn't like his chances. Slips it to McMahon, dives and completes it.
This kid, David, has just been exactly what the Kangaroos needed. Really smart operator. He's good above his head for his size, and he's a magnificent kick. But most of all, he's smart. He's just got a good footy brain. Not sure why it took him so long to come through into the ranks. He came through via a rookie. But we're seeing the emergence of a very talented player.
Oh, no doubt about that. And the three usages going in from Harvey to the centre half forward in Petrie, and then on to him was exceptional usage under pressure.
He's kicked 9 goals this year, kicked 1 last week, starts it right, and it's all wrong.
Put the moz on it.
Yeah.
He's actually a very accurate kick,
yes.
And that's when he'll get out of the woodwork and go again.
Selwood, cut off. Yeah. Mops up, caught high by Petrie, gets the free.
Outstanding player, Adam Selwood. He's just been everything that the Eagles saw in him as a kid, and he's delivered probably a bit more as well.
Schofield with his second possession to Prittis, who heads wide. Braun, who's had a massive week, thumps it across the boundary line and will get a ball in. And Michael Braun will be just happy to be out on a footy field, playing the game he knows best.
The die's been set. There's not going to be too much uncontested possession today. They're in and at it.
Good body language from both clubs.
McIntosh knocks it down, and Prittis going nowhere. We will get a ball up. 39 possessions in round 10 against the Roos. Matt Prittis. That was a Subiaco, and that was his career high, so doesn't mind playing against the Roos.
You picked it, Jared, too. Watts come up onto Hansen.
Wells thumps it inside 50. Fist goes up. Well played, Schofield. Glass. Crum. Embley. Back pocket. And now Kerr.
Must be just one of the great joys of coaching the West Coast, that every week you wake up, you're selecting the side, you start at fullback, and you feel comfortable. Darren Glass goes in.
And Kerr heads wide. There's a free downfield. He was dumped. So it'll be a West Coast ball on the wing, and it'll go to Hansen. Short, Rapunda under pressure. Harvey with the spoil, but it's turned over to Stengline. And now Braun at half forward, looks up. Quentin Lynch on the move, over his head. Forced to backtrack. Tried to get on the end of the handball, but Lacroix missed him. And now Sinclair.
Well, Quentin Lynch just didn't even anticipate there could have been a handball. And he's dropped his opponent behind play just for good measure.
It was a good hit too.
Long kick towards Glass, that man you spoke of, Jared.
Well, Drew Petrie has been one of the better forwards of the season, but he's up against as good a full-back as there's been in the game in recent years.
Most efficient.
All Australian
Most
last
efficient,
year. Second in the best and fairest. Outstanding. Embley. From half-back to half-forward. Good movement. This Wirapunda can run to 50. Looks up. Wants a pass. Pocket. Lacroix drops it. And we'll get a ball in.
The work rate, Jared, has been, I mean, I think Johnny Worsfold said we didn't work hard last week. Well, already, and I think that's why they got all their runners on except for Cousins, and they really are running with and without the ball at a terrific intensity.
Ball back into play. McIntosh. Archer. Tucked into the boundary line, keeps it alive. Archer back into the team this week after that flu. Grant started on the bench to Wells to Green. And the ex-Eagle sends it long, but Hearn should mop it up, does. And he's been a good pickup. Shannon Hearn, two-time premiership player with Central Districts in the Sandful, so came into the Eagles squad with some good experience against men. Braun wide to Wirapunda.
Well, Wirapunda is essentially by himself at the moment, as is Glenn Archer for the Kangaroos.
I know who I would be worried about in that matchup. They've got to get him covered. Wirapunda kills you in this sort of setup.
Stengline's gone over onto Simpson.
Hunter to Jones to Lynch. Good movement. Archer tried to make him earn it, but he held it. And thought about playing on quickly. Quentin Lynch, just the 1 goal last week, 1 goal 2, and he's been 50-50 at goal all year. He's kicked 34-36, so anything could happen here from the boundary line.
Well, they've at least forced them wide, haven't they? Both of their entries in the last 2 minutes have been well out towards a boundary line, which if they do gain possession, the conversions are difficult.
Often takes the pressure off. The shots from here that you're not expected to nail, and he kicks that pretty well, but it's across the face and scrapes through for a behind.
And if you control the game early, and a couple of sides done this over the weekend and not got a result, which made it difficult for them at the finish, you want to get a scoreboard pressure on.
Archer got it from Pratt. Now, there's something the umpire didn't like. He didn't go back behind the mark. And Hamish McIntosh has it back pocket.
2 threes going together. Brady Rawlings, he's got the footy now, and Judd right behind him, but he's got the footy now.
Nothing worse than that, giving it to your own man. Judd's over it, Rawlings with him. They tie it up, it comes out. Braun manhandled, and the boundary line beats them all, and it's on behind play. Judd and Rawlings continue to go at it.
A bit lucky to get out of that one, Jared, weren't they? I mean, he gave it up. Had it got over the top, they were away, but well protected.
That is rule number 1 when you're a tagger. Do not handball to your opponent.
Simpson tries to flick it back to Harvey. Tried to kick it off the deck. Missed. No free for neck. Prittis to half forward to Hanson on the second grab. Hands off. Little chip kick from Rosa is good to Kerr. On 50, maybe beyond his range.
What's got to be careful? The ball in the air, he just lost the ball. He got onto his opponent, right, but just lost track of the ball.
Look at this set play to the big kick of Hearn.
And he loads up from 55, and it is a mark to Lynch. Ferrito claims there was a push. Lynch plays on. Ferrito drags him down. He kicks the goal. He's just too tough.
Well, an amazing effort. I know go about kicking what would have been the easiest goal for the day and make it just the most difficult one. It was a rare piece of skill from the big fella.
Well, just have a look at Ferrito. He's claiming the free kick. That's an interesting play on decision. Great tackle for Ferrito. Amazing goal, Quentin Lynch. An amazing goal. The big man's happy. He's off to a good start.
First goal of the afternoon for the game and for Quentin Lynch. And he's a strong brute.
You ever seen that before, David?
Never. I don't read it. Just trying to think.
Just walked straight through it. From the ball up.
He was watching Barry Hall last night, who thought he was playing rugby union.
Harris to Green to Grant. Sinclair, Wells. Good movement forward. Inside 50, Sainsbury and Jones.
Touch in the back.
And Jones gets the free.
Well, this is a matchup now. They push Jones down.
Sainsbury actually gets it.
I should say, yep. And they've pushed Sainsbury down to make Wirapunda accountable. And it must have just been a touch on the back, but the rule's been in for 19 weeks now.
From Central Districts, the same club as Shannon Hearn, who sent the last one forward for the Eagles, and it's a miss for Eddie Sainsbury. His 4th season at the club. He'll be disappointed with that.
And he's not bad either. I think he's got good skills and should have put that one away.
Cousins. Henson Booze. Long kick towards Stengline. Off his hands and out of play. I don't think Ben Cousins will mind too much that there's still some people with long memories. Continue for the rest of his career.
Well, they're going to be doing a lot then if his last 4 or 5 weeks are going to indicate how many times he gets the footy.
Wells. Harvey. And McIntosh gets one on Seaby. Centering kick, perfect. And McMahon gets it again.
Well, it was just an instinctive kick, but McMahon was the one who read it best. The defenders are in 2 minds. Where's the ball and where's the player? Whereas McMahon's only thinking, where's the ball?
Where's the ball? That's just happened at each end of the ground. The good thing about the start is that Wells has had a couple of very constructive. I think put him in the midfield there, get him up and going early. Wherever he finishes the game is on point, but he's got a good start. Had a couple of very effective disposals already. One with the hand, one with the feet.
Made the most of his opportunity, Scott McMahon. He got the chance earlier this year when Glenn Archer's daughter was ill, and he was a late withdrawal. McMahon came in. And it's been potent ever since. They're in front.
David, a lot to like about this kid. He's come into the competition as a pocket. We know he can kick goals. We know he's smart. Now the challenge is going to be over the next summer or 3. Can he do the work rate to get enough miles in those legs that he can run like the bloke who just set up this goal, Brent Harvey?
And I'm not sure. That's the big question, because at the moment he's playing in that position because he can't do the midfield stuff.
First goal of the afternoon for Scott McMahon. Kangaroos by a point.
Adam Simpson starting these centre bounces at centre-half forward. He's effectively going into the midfield then at times and playing as an extra mid, opening up their forward line.
Cox to Kerr, to Cousins, to Braun. Out of the textbook for the West Coast. Towards Staker. Drag down Archer, boundary line the Sanctuary if he wants it. Green, and now Watt back to Archer, back pocket. Not a lot to go to, goes central, and it comes off to Petrie, Rawlings, Ferrito. Having an outstanding year as well. This handball not good. Lacroix cuts it off. No one to kick to. He's got Hansen, but he's got 3 to beat and can't beat them all. Gets a fist on it, good enough. Down to Judd, shrugs a tackle, kicks around the body, and misses. Behind Rowan Smith.
Well, just as we speak now, Chris Judd is contesting at the centre bounce, and then he's moving forward. So he's taken Brady Rawlings out of his comfort zone in the midfield and taking him, making sure that he plays as a backman.
No, I think it's a great idea. I think the last 4 or 5 weeks since he's been injured, Chris Judd, and coping with injury, he's been getting too many possessions behind the centre. Going forward, that's where he does the damage. Might have missed a handball over the top on that occasion, but he's going to be more potent if he can kick 3 goals in 15 possessions, and struggling to get his 25 by the miles.
Petrie, Mark Pratt's kick, kicks in the Casey Green direction. He's away. He can go all the way. Didn't want to. Sinclair taps it inside 50. Getting back, Glass around the body, and there on the rebound, the West Coast. If Rosa can get it up, it gets up eventually to Kerr. Got it from Jones to Braun. Back to Jones. And now the long kick towards full forward. High ball. Watt can get back and rush it through for a behind. That's deliberate. Out of play, and it'll be a free, surely.
David, that was a really interesting passage of play. Daniel Kerr had 2 options. He had Braun in the corridor and Cox, who was 40 metres clear on the wing, and he elected to go corridor. Now, I reckon the Eagles have had a look at the way Geelong are playing and suggested maybe that they think they need to play more corridor.
Well, it's not about. I reckon that's a good strategic approach.
Harris thumps it away. How is that not deliberate out of play? Braun hands to Kerr, boundary line, and taken out by Harvey.
But what are you saying, Dwayne? Is if in turn they'd hand passed it and had exactly the same result, they would have free kicked it. No difference in my opinion. I'm with you.
Just another one of the errors that the Kangaroos have racked up at this stage. I think their work rate's fantastic, but just a couple of skill errors are keeping the Kangaroos from scoring heavily.
Well, that one where Green was carrying the ball down, he was asking Sinclair to come on to his favourite foot, but the idea was right, the execution was terrible.
Free kick off the ball. Selwood. Centering kick. Hansen can't get there, and the mark taken by Harris. Sprints clear. Comes to the wing. Sinclair. Shepherd from McMahon. Now Jones the target. Would punch away. Jones v Jones. And the Kangaroos, Jones gets on the end of it. Slides it toward goal. It was all about the roll. Across the face and behind.
Well, I reckon David, Kangaroos slightly on top, just haven't made the most of their opportunities forward to the centre.
Exactly.
So Cox and Cousins to start on the bench. Cousins dragged down by Hale. Crowd enjoyed that.
Well, too high, Dwayne. He's playing it.
They won't enjoy that.
No.
Probably owed half a dozen free kicks from last week.
Is he?
Cousins.
Okay.
But he was well in deficit. He got his head ripped off half a dozen times, but it was play on last week. In fact, everything was play on last week.
And for Kangaroo supporters, 3 Victorian umpires in action this afternoon. Hansen loads up and sends it long inside 50. Judd stays down. Rawlings back at the pack. Free kick. And play on advantage. Ferrito to Harvey.
Yeah, the rebound of Michael Ferrito already a telling factor. He's got 1 goal kicked on him, but he's rebounding well.
Sinclair held up. Forced to go to the pocket. McMahon flies. Can't bring the mark down. Hearn dived in. Handball to Jones was good. Had to put his head down and did it. Jones bounces through half back. Stingline. Wirapunda. Hansen on the run. And he gets there. A little bit of protection from Hunter. Called to play on for some reason. Umpire says we better get on with it. And Embley takes the mark in the pocket against Wells.
Well, essentially that's where all the space is going to be. But if you keep leading to that dead pockets on every ground or the acute angles, you're going to be relying upon an extraordinary level of accuracy to kick a winning score.
Good to see.
It's a lack of trust in sometimes to go to your targets in there. I mean, if you're going to go outside all the time, you're going to crucify the work rate before you.
This kick to give the West Coast Eagles back the lead. Not bad off the boot. Magnificent. West Coast Eagles back in front.
And that time they converted, and that's what they're going to have to do. But I mean, the stats show you that once you get outside about that 45-degree angle, the percentages continually diminish rapidly.
Well, you don't want to be dependent on that all day. I mean, that is an enormously good kick against my advice. It's a great kick, but to convert at that rate from that position all day, it's just not on.
Hearn now picking up Shannon Grant. Dangerous player for the Kangaroos.
150th career goal for Andrew Embley, and his vocal cords paralysed after the round 19 clash with the Roos last year. And good to see he can call again. They found him in the pocket for that one. Hale to Smith to Harris. Chip to Petrie. Good movement.
Good work. And Jesse Smith's involvement in that. We thought he was hesitant, but he got out the hand pass and the finish. Terrific effort.
To the pocket, and getting there is Jones.
Similar scenario. Everybody grouped around the corridor, so the space is out wide. Now he plays on.
He does. He runs around. He's been in good form. Magnificent form. The Kangaroos are back in front.
He's an exceptional talent. I saw him in Tasmania a couple of weeks ago. I mean, not easy to get on the lead, not easy, very good for his size overhead, but he's a sensational front and square crummer. And to put that away, just cool and calm, opened up the space, put it away. Terrific effort.
Yeah, it was a big day down in Tassie. I think he kicked 7 against a bloke pushing up for all Australian honours in Campbell Brown, who's taken a lot of scalps this year.
First goal for Corey Jones, just 7 2 weeks ago and none last week goal-wise, so it's been in okay form, but he's had a pretty good year overall. He's now kicked 42 for the year.
Daniel Kerr gets his first rest as we see the genius of Cousins and Cox.
Yes, and the pass is spectacular. Archer tries to spoil Embley, but it was illegal.
Well, these two have been doing it for a long time now,
And 50.
David. They are two of the great combinations, Cox and Cousins, and it's just sensational football to watch. Straight out of the middle, and then a pass onto the chest. That's just football at its most pure.
Terry, and they know, I suppose, and they've started Cox and Cousins on the bench.
And that was a tap-in for Andrew Embley. He's got 2, and the Eagles have got their lead back.
Wouldn't you have thought that combination would be your starting combination? Exactly what they did there, almost unimpeded. It's just a super piece of effort, a great hit, and the classical use by Cousins, hit the target beautifully. Why wouldn't you do that at the start of the game? They'll say, well, this is why we did it. We're in the game now. We brought our guns, our main artillery out, and now we fix them.
Well, I think the other thing to learn there was young Swallow ball watching rather than Cousins watching. He's got to do a bit of both.
And there's been a change. So Brad Moran now on Embley. Archer's been taken off. It won't make Glenn Archer all that happy.
And Chris Judd resting in that forward line.
So from the ball up, quick kick by Swallow. And the mark's taken by Jones on 50.
Shouldn't say resting in the forward line, just positioned in the forward line. I'm not sure he'll be doing much resting.
He thinks he's beyond his range, but if he loads up, this is well within his repertoire. The roof shut here at the Dome. Perfect conditions, no breeze.
Petrie's got away, I think.
And he goes for Petrie in the pocket, and he outmarks Glass, who had a fist in the general vicinity, but couldn't find the leather.
He actually ran forward to the left and then swooped around the back. Darren Glass, I thought, just gave him a couple of too many metres because he thought he was out of the position. But Corey Jones was just confident that he couldn't make the distance, and he was desperate to find someone, and he did.
5th possession for Drew Petrie. Didn't kick a goal last week either. 2 behinds, but he's got 25-12 for the year. He's been accurate all year. He's accurate again here. It's a seesawing contest, and the Roos have the lead back.
Well, that's let us down at this stage. I mean, the way it's being played, the contesting stuff. I just think about it's Hale versus Cox, of course. A terrific kick in it, and he is marking the ball. He lost it for about 12 months. Petrie really did. He wasn't at either end of the ground, was no mark, but he's taken mark after mark and a super conversion.
And Darren Glass, filthy on something. He, I think, was guarding a space. You saw it in replay, and then when he just charged away, he was exposed.
Drew Petrie has been settled up forward. It's been a reasonably settled side, the Kangaroos. 12 of their players playing today have played every game this year. Wells from the ball up, half-handled. Lecras in the middle, Cox. Not coming out in a hurry. It's been a tough old contest, and it's still hot in the kitchen. The umpires will sort it out.
It didn't last long, did it? McIntosh is back to number 1 against Cox. They're going to leave Hale doing that job for long.
It's just interesting going back to that last goal. Darren Glass, filthy, and I'm not sure at who, but I think it was Cox on the goal line, thought he may have had to take responsibility for Petrie.
Cousins shoots it wide. Armstrong shoots it back. Prittis from Stengline to Cousins. Through traffic. Back to Stengline. Archer was hoping for that. Dumps him into the turf. And the umpire doesn't reward him with a holding the ball call. Rosa to Braun. Couple of options up forward. Sends it high and long. Kangaroos getting numbers back. Massive players flew. Pratt off the deck, the boundary line, the sanctuary. He knows he wants it.
Oh, Jared, you could. That was brave, wasn't it? I mean, 3 Kangaroos didn't have to, but all went back into the massive players coming at them, and they've got an out of bounds on that play. It's fantastic.
They're a bit stiff. I thought that they should have got rewarded for the holding the ball in the middle of the ground. But David, it looks like the pack mark is back.
Oh, love it.
Picked up by Stengline, caught by Sainsbury. Archer through traffic. Simpson shrugs a tackle, bends around another, into trouble and out of trouble beautifully. Ferrito. That kick not so good, turns it over to Jones.
He's had a couple of massive, one with the hand and one with the feet. Ferrito hasn't helped them at all.
Rose have done well. They're into the corridor again.
And he thought about going straight down the middle. There's no one in the goal square, so he loads up and goes long and strong.
Once again, David, another example of electing to go corridor
inside, but having the people who've run hard to get above. He was fairly wide. No, he wasn't. He's right in the centre. Couldn't have been better placed.
And well done to Roses. Saw the space in front, Simpson was guarding space, so he elected to take it up and just enough to get it home. Big time in the career of Matty Rosa. Missed out on the premiership side last year. He was in early this season, lost his spot, and he's got it back.
And you're right, Jared. 15 games last year, including 2 finals for the West Coast, but not in the grand final team. Didn't play last week, so he's back into the team this week. And September not far away. Big time for him. And what a palm down to Cousins. Thinks about going all the way. Does from 50 and has missed.
And that wasn't Cox. That was Seaby.
Yeah, he's
or
growing.
a combination of Seaby and McIntyre.
He is growing as a ruckman.
Ben Archer, who joins Wayne Schimmelbusch next week on 306 games, the Kangaroos record. Long kick towards the wing. And a free's been found. It'll go the Kangaroos' way to Hamish McIntosh.
It's interesting that Archer's now doing a brilliant job in that extra in the back half, the round-up bloke. He's won a lot and used it extremely well. And now Wirrapunta's being controlled. I'm looking for the equivalent of Archer in the back half for West Coast.
McIntosh still young, turns 23 next month, kicks to half forward. Petrie got a fly at it. Prittis the crumb. Hunter, Selwood, and he's got Embley, who a few seconds ago was in a forward pocket. To the back pocket, kick not so good. Archer, Smith shrugs the tackle all the way back to the wing. Green, he's got McIntosh in the middle, and they can load up here with a long ball. Harvey decides a handball instead to Wells. Back to Harvey. Now perhaps the long ball. Ran into trouble. Handballed it inside 50 towards Smith, and a free. It'll go the West Coast way.
Down on the boundary line, Rowan Shannon Grant. He seems to be struggling to find the footy, and at the moment is responsible for Ben Cousins.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jared. And look, he's a terrific player. He's struggling for form at the moment. He's a match winner. I'd put him one out in the forward 50. I think, he's a notable goal kicker. Or just put him behind the ball. Just let him get his confidence a little bit.
Well, the 2 Centrals boys, Hearn and Sainsbury, chase it down. Hearn inside 50. Armstrong driven into the turf. No free. And we'll get a ball up. Gee, unlucky there. Stephen Armstrong. Yeah.
Cousins is struggling through the middle of the ground. He looks a bit sore at the moment too.
McIntosh down, Archer. Around the body. Just the required 15, although Swallow thought it wasn't, so played on straight away into trouble. Sainsbury found Wells, but he lost it. Hearn got it from Rosa. Inside 50 towards Hanson. Watts fist, but straight down to Stingline. Back into traffic. Hanson, Victorian boy, back home. Misses. Only a behind. 8 Victorians in this West Coast Eagles squad this afternoon. 15 West Australians, by the way, in it as well. And it'll come back to fullback. 28 plays 21. It's been an intense contest, and we're 2 minutes from quarter time, and I think the players will be happy for the rest. Rawlings to Watt.
Jess Smith now on Ashley Hanson.
Long ball to half forward. Hearn with the fist. Thumps it down, but straight to Petrie. Chip kick inside 50 to Mann! Dives and held it. Well, he almost broke his neck trying to take it. But the ball was more important than anything else. And he'll have the shot at goal with about 70 seconds left on the clock. That's a mark.
It's interesting, David. Drew Petrie is getting a lot of his possessions up the ground, and even now he's walking up outside the forward 50, trying to get Darren Glass away from that key defensive area.
And they've got to honour him. They've got to use him up as they did then, because that's the only way you get the advantage from that.
Now Rising Star nominee from round 14 this year against Richmond, Scott McMahon. He's already got 1. He's now got 2. This is a ripper contest.
And as you said earlier, David, Ben Cousins, I'm not sure if he's crook or he's just fatigued, but he is now coming from the ground. He's doing a little bit of a run. Just looks like he's got a bit of a wobble on.
Yeah, that would be helpful to the Kangaroos if he weren't able to produce his best.
He's a good kid, this one. He enjoys looking at it as well.
43 seconds left on the clock. And Scott McMahon's got 2 and Cousins has got some time off.
Well, they've got Hunter now back on McMahon, playing out of that goal square. They've got a true defender on him.
Jones, string of handballs, found him, but he gave it up to Grant. This will boost his confidence if he goes all the way. Inside 50, no trajectory, bounces it, and that'll dent his confidence. Instead of lifting it, he could have kicked the range. Trying to bounce it through.
Well, that's the sign, isn't it? Where his mind is at the moment, the execution of that just shows you he has no confidence about what he can do, and that's his greatest asset.
Yeah, he's kicking really. That was a mongrel.
Oh,
I mean, he just did not get any connection whatsoever.
Hearn long to Stengline, and with 10 seconds and counting.
But a positive, of course, was that he anticipated it, intercepted it, so he's nearly got the job done.
Well, they need a mark before the siren. They won't get it.
Spoil sports.
And Lindsay Thomas won't be all that happy.
Do you reckon it was the West Coast time to that one?
I think they're all Victorians here, Jared. Shannon Grant, who could have given them the lead at the opening break, but maybe that scoreline wraps up this first quarter adequately. It is all tied up. Ben Cousins, a little rest like LeBron James, just coming off before the break to get himself ready for the next quarter's action so he can be fresh for the start when it counts. But this is a magnificent challenge for second spot on the ladder tonight. The Kangaroos 4-4-28 to the West Coast 4-4-28.
Hasn't reappeared, so there's a problem there.
All tied up to start this second term, and McIntosh with the palm down, but he missed well. Stolen by Kerr to Rosa. Kick smothered. Rosa back in to mop up the mess. Shrugs. Harvey kicks inside 50. Hanson dishes off, and Prentice waltzes in and has kicked the opener for the second term. West Coast Eagles back in front.
Classic Eagles, David. Centre clearance, got the ball forward. Then they just came in nicely into the middle of the ground where Hanson had ducked back. This is a nice kick from, well, in fact, a nice smother from Simpson. But Rosa, this one, gets it into the corridor, and it was Hanson who read it best. This is exactly what you want every time. A left footer running onto his proper side, or the reverse if you're a right footer. Through the middle, easy shots at goal.
Mentioned earlier that Matt Prentice had 39 possessions, his career best in the round 10 clash against the Roos. That was a 66-point win to the West Coast Eagles at Subiaco. And these two teams met twice last year as well, with the West Coast Eagles winning both battles. From the ball up, Simpson with a look away flick to the back to Harvey. Harris, Harvey just pokes it towards half forward, unconvincing. Selwood was there, arm slapped, and receives the free against Grant.
They made a change there, Dwayne. Selwood's gone on to Shannon Grant. Rosa is with Brent Harvey.
It'll come back. Kerr found Prentice with some space, but
that's interesting because Selwood done a pretty good job.
He does. And Daniel Wells is running with Daniel Kerr.
That's interesting.
Head to head. He looks like he's got a tagging role. He wouldn't have done that too often.
Rosa to Braun. And from half back. Just chips it wide to Hanson. Had the space on Moran. He's playing just game number 3, so big task for Brad Moran, the 20-year-old Kangaroo.
This is really good work here by Hunter. Hunter has dragged his man McMahon from full forward at one end to full forward at the other, and he may end up getting this with a height difference.
Quinton Lynch to Judd. Second grab, held it, and that might be 50 all the way to the goal line for the superstar.
Well, you called that, Jared. That was a terrific effort.
The only thing threatening that was if Quinton Lynch's kick had hit the roof. Judd kicks the goal.
Well, you forget sometimes how tall Judd is, don't you? He looks like a running midfielder of about 6 foot, but he's closer to 6'3", and he's a capacity to mark. And that was, you know, almost what you would call a genuine pack mark. He was 3rd or 4th cab off the rank, and I think on the second bite, I reckon that was a legitimate mark.
Yeah, you just have a look at Smith. He's got a hold of him. He just can't reach. McMahon got a half hand in on it, but Judd was the only one really who controlled the footy. Good work by Hunter, though, dragging him away from his comfortable spot.
Massive match-up, Jesse Smith, isn't it, on Judd?
Yes, Jesse Smith just game number 20. Chris Judd only game number 132, but he's the best player in the competition. Prentice is working his way into the top 60 or so. Kicks toward half forward, off hands Embley. Dangerous time here for the Roos. Archer, well, he hurdled him, but he gave the free away.
He clipped him on the way through, though, Dwayne.
Okay.
What's interesting is that they are just going straight down the corridor, more than I've seen the Eagles for a long time.
They've got the message.
They lead by 12. That's the biggest margin of the game, and Embley can make it 18. Drop punt, heads toward the goal line. Judd's down there again. It's a behind. So 13 points, still the biggest margin. Harris at half-back. Having a reasonably good afternoon at the office. Possession number 7 for him. And he heads wide in the Petrie direction. It's there for the bounce, but caught by Glass. Handball to the captain, Simpson. Tries to loop it back, stolen by Prentice. He's good.
Rosa having a good quarter.
Rosa to Cox. Has a little run and chips a little kick to Judd.
Well, this is, I just think, great coaching by John Worsfold and his group. They've had a look at where they're at in the season. They've made some changes. Judd, they've got to manage his groin, so they manage it best by reducing the work rate required. They've put him into the forward line. He is an outstanding forward, as we know. Needs to sharpen up with a few of his shots at goal, but he's going to get there at some stage this season.
Well, you saw what Richmond did with Deludio on Friday night. Beautiful, you know, similar stature, a similar sort of play. Comes to the ball, reads it well, and they're going to prick technically. You'd always go back in the midfield for a while. They can use him in that role. I would hate to be a defender taking this play in the front half.
He's kicked 18 goals, 11 this season, 14 possessions last week. No kicks in the second half last week for Chris Judd. Ferrito from half-back towards the wing. Hanson ties up with McIntosh. Seaby and Sainsbury came hard. Good tackle by Hanson. McIntosh with the outside of the foot. High ball. Getting back there, Schofield. Rolled it toward the boundary line, and he's done extremely well. Will Schofield, another local country Victorian from Geelong College, which isn't a big footy school. It's more an academic school with a little bit of rowing.
And there's Lacroix getting that injury. Oh, hip pointer. There's nothing worse.
From the ball up.
It'll be with him for a month.
And no one going anywhere. Rowan Smith.
Yeah, just an injury update on Mark Lacroix. He's in the rooms at the moment. That was actually taped from before, but he got crunched in the first quarter in that really fierce marking contest. He hasn't emerged from the change rooms this quarter yet, so I'll keep an eye on him.
And the ball up. Wells slaps it down.
Smart play, Sting line.
Yeah, he just tapped it to either Prentice or the boundary. Either would do, and Prentice takes it across.
Well, fascinating, the match-up that you called Wells on Kerr. I think it'll be interesting. I don't reckon Kerr will worry too much about that one.
Free kick's been found off the ball against Harvey, and it goes to Selwood.
And Hunter is off and running. And this is maybe a real lesson for McMahon now. He's going to have to defend really hard for perhaps the first time in his career.
So Embley to Glass. And Rosa runs on. And it come all the way back to Jones.
So invariably, David, if they can get the ball to Hunter, he's got a major matchup problem, Dean Laley, because he's only a forward pocket.
That's right.
Embley found Braun. Not a boo in the house for Braun, which is good news. Short. Rosa. Sting line. Sends it long inside 50, and getting back was Smith. Couldn't mark it. Judd's presence was there. Judd slips the handball out, but it was a tough one for Kerr. He and Moran go head-to-head. Almost a throw for Rito. Still on behind play.
Yeah, Judd and someone.
Jesse Smith, isn't it?
Grant, Sinclair toward the lead, and almost, but not quite, Petrie. He got a slap at the arm, didn't get a free. Sainsbury. Grabbed by Prentice, slipped the tackle, gave it to Jones, and he's missed.
Well, they're just letting themselves down, the Kangaroos, but I think most of all, John Worsfold would be filthy that, A, they didn't get a goal down at the other end of the ground, and then they just let a couple of tackles slip through, which is completely not in the West Coast Eagles handbook. They are such ferocious tacklers that players don't generally break them.
It's interesting. Cox has gone forward and young Moran has taken him. There are a couple of matchups. Pratt's now got Judd.
Crowd not happy. Archer not happy. But free regardless to Wembley.
We've got Armstrong, Dwayne, who's 70 metres on his own. I'm not sure how he's popped out the side here, but it's a good switch of play.
And he can take off short to Jones. He wants that. He hasn't got a lot to go to that's free, although he does now. He's got a couple of players peeling for him. Wirapunda looks up. He's got Kerr.
Good shepherd, Hunter.
And it was a magnificent shepherd because he was about to be spoiled. Kerr from 50 pops it to Hansen. Perfect.
I suppose it
gives it off.
Oh, good pass.
Lynch. And it's worked out pretty well in the end, although they almost messed it up. Hunter, the man you were speaking of, Jared, was in a little bit of space.
Well, they did struggle right out wide, was what they wouldn't have wanted to do. They were looking for ways to come back, but the Kangaroos had it controlled through the corridor. But in the finish, as soon as they got the 50, they squared it up immediately.
And a 4-goal game against the Kangaroos at Monaca last year. And he pops through his first, Adam Hunter.
Well, this is one of the. This is a really interesting game tactically, I reckon, David, and the decision to put Hunter onto McMahon and then make him. He's as much a forward at the moment as he is a defender. He's just starting in defence and then charging up to the forward line.
And he doesn't know what to do about the young bloke.
And I reckon they'll be thinking about that in the Kangaroos coaching box. Just how are they going to break this scenario? Well, the easiest way is for McMahon to kick goals and for them to get more possession midfield.
And the reality about that is not happening because the midfield dominance at the moment is certainly with West Coast. They've come forward out of most centre bounces. They haven't always got it through, but they at the moment are controlling the most important part of the game.
Margin stretched beyond 3 goals now. Dean Laidley, who of course played for both clubs, for the West Coast 52 games and 99 for the Kangaroos. Free kick out of the middle. It's getting worse for the Roos. Rosa free on the end of Seaby's boot. Slips it inside 50. They can raffle it. Cox and Hansen could have marked it. And Dean Cox will have the shot.
Well, they just haven't touched the footy enough, the Kangaroos, in this term. The raw stats say 129 to 89. And they weren't that far apart at quarter time, Dwayne. They are just not getting any possession at the moment at all, contested or uncontested.
Speaking of mixed history, Dean Cox's uncle, Richard McCouchick, played for the Kangaroos a number of years ago. Kicks across the face and close to the line, and it's dragged through.
Well, they'll just slow it down a bit, the Kangaroos. I don't think if they're going to take them on as they are at the moment. I think that's going to get rolled very, very badly. I think it's time to slow it up.
Turnover. Lynch. That's a big bomb. He was 80 from goal. Can't get it all the way. Touched on the line. He was angry with himself. He should have kicked it a bit harder.
If he had kicked it any harder, Dwayne, the bladder would have come out of the level.
Glenn Archer's argued that he's allowed to stand in the goal scripture. He's not interfering with his bloke bringing it back, but nobody can be within 5 metres. So
Pratt to himself.
Oh, it's a lovely kick.
To Grant.
They've got to get the likes of Grant, Boomer Harvey, Simpson, their ball carriers, Jess Sinclair with the footy. They're just not getting anywhere near enough of it.
Good contrast from Petrie and Glass. They collided. And the ball out of play. The West Coast Eagles and the Kangaroos coming off losses last week. And it'll be 2 in a row for whoever loses this game. And if it is the Kangaroos who are on the ropes now, they've got the Cats next week. From the ball in. Jones shuffles it out. Hunter, the hunted, dragged down by 3 Kangaroos. Will get a ball up.
Well, you've named the guns. Those are the 3 guns for the Kangaroos, and they've done their homework.
They're the disposal numbers, right-hand corner. West Coast 41 to the Kangaroos 20.
Well, that tells the story.
Umpire's having a little conference here, and the Kangaroo fans happy to hear that McMahon's the recipient of the free. Harvey tied up, can't get a run at this. It was in his direction. Hale brings it from the sky and will line up from 40 metres directly out And this is a massive kick. They have not kicked a goal this term, the Kangaroos, and we've played 13 minutes.
Well, that's one, isn't it? I mean, he has a significant height advantage over, I think, Schofield's his immediate opponent. So that's one to come in, and at least he delivered what he should have in the circumstances.
With the headlines last year, when there were a few complaints about his development at the Kangaroos, he can't change a car tyre, but he can kick a goal.
Well, this will be a good replay, David, for Will Schofield, just to have a look at how his man ended up with this football. He just got away out, but he's got to just have more physical presence there, not just be poke punching.
He's a skinny kid, though. Never look from the hips down. There's not much going for him.
Got to use his body, get him off the line, keep the front position, push him away from the footy.
First goal of the afternoon for David Hale. First goal of the quarter for the Kangaroos. It's back to a 15-point margin. Seaby tried to knock it down. Tritta stole it. Cousins. It just mesmerised them until he got it on the boot. Hanson beaten by Archer. Swallows out wide. Takes the pass. Sinclair can go back to Swallow if he wants to. Wants to go down the corridor. Jones has got a couple to beat. Rosa played it to his own advantage. And now Cousins again. Starting to dominate. Wide to Wirapunda. He's got a couple of options. One is Hanson in the pocket. He's leading back. Archer's fist wins out. And he gets it out of play. After a little clash, Daniel Pratt teaming with Archer to take as many out as they can.
Well, suggestion there that was around the neck, but no, good decision by the umpires.
Cox down, Armstrong ducked into it, tied up by Harris. Ball up.
And all that passage, though, I think you called it Rosa going backwards and sideways to get the fist on, was just enormously courageous and effective effort.
Well, Brent Harvey now is trying to break his tag, and that is to go to Daniel Kerr. Rosa's been tracking Harvey. They've done that now. Rosa to go to Swallow.
Sinclair hacks it out of the area. Here is that battle. Kerr beats Harvey for it. Might get it back here. Cousins waited for the tackle. Took the player with him. Gave it to Jones, who gives it to Judd, who passes toward the top of the square. Archer with a big fist again wins out. Down towards Embley. Shrugged by Ferrito. Smith gathers but needs to backtrack out of trouble. Sinclair. Archer. Hanson's got him. And the kick might find the boundary. That'll do. The ball in.
Jesse Smith, you know, an experience and timing and coolness beyond his experience and maturity.
That's a magnificent punch from Archer. The wind-up and the hard fist. I don't think he can open that broken hand. No choice but to punch. Cousins
has had a ton of it in the last 10 minutes.
Lynch. Embley can't mark. Wirapunda. Kangaroos on the ropes here. Cox to Kerr.
Line up.
Oh, Tritta, he can just waltz in. And from 20, easy as you like. More than on the ropes, the Kangaroos on the canvas.
Yeah, it's been a domination this quarter, Dwayne. You're right. They're probably not as far ahead on the scoreboard, David, as their dominance in the middle.
Absolutely. They've dominated the game. I think it's been in a couple of times only in a convincing way inside the Kangaroos 50. They're doing it in every position. I mean, if it goes in deep like that, was a high kick that sat for a while, and three people could have raffled it and had the mark and the goal at the end of it, which shows that the work rate is what John talked about.
Bit of meteoric rise to prominence for Matt Priddis. 2 goals in this term. Second year on the list for him. Began last year as one of the players the West Coast Eagles were hoping to develop. On the Sandover, of course. And here he is again on cue. High kick. Inside 50. Judd. Ferrito taps it to his own advantage. Lynch. Caught by Casey Green. In fact, ridden by Casey Green as he took a couple of steps. Harris dives in, ties it up, ball up.
Just having a look at the midfield for the Kangaroos, David, as Pritis, I think it is, in fact it may have been Armstrong, gets his head ripped off. Their midfield, nobody's got 10 possessions at the present time. They're well under. Harris has only had, for the Kangas. Harris has had 7. Simpson's only had 6. Brent Harvey's only had 6 possessions. That'll be his worst return so far this year. Sinclair's only had 8, and Daniel Wells only 6.
And even Rawlings, who's been as a tagger, has got plenty, only had 3.
So Adam Simpson with the cut eye. Doesn't look all that good either. Forced off under the blood rule. The captain. Sainsbury back on.
Well, when you got Rosa and Pritis and these people as your second stringers, in a real sense, they'd all be starting in starting 4s in most other clubs in the competition.
Well, it's interesting with Pritis. I think he's probably taken Chad Fletcher's spot at the moment. Now here's a All-Australian.
Well, that's too high, surely, on Armstrong. And Harvey frustrated at the moment. The Brownlow medal second favourite beaten at this point in time in the game, and they need him to bounce back in the second half. Armstrong to line up from 50.
Well, Fletcher's had few this year, hasn't he? Very few. And even Armstrong gets a Guernsey before him.
21-point lead as it stands to make it 27. It's long. It's there.
Well, it's really starting to get a bit ugly. The Kangaroos, I think you've just made the pertinent point. They just aren't getting enough ball where it counts. That's not just at centre bounces, but through the midfield. And the opportunities are being created one after the other into their front half, and their forwards have done it spread right across. They're all doing a bit.
He was one of the great stories last year of the premiership victory. Was Armstrong, recruited from Melbourne, given the flick by the Demons, came up. Stephen Armstrong, such an important player in their victory.
Spot on, Jared. I mean, it was going to be a horror story for him after Melbourne dumped him. And the last 4 premiers have had an ex-Melbourne player playing in their premiership team. Armstrong last year, Jolly, Bishop and Martin Pike the year before that. From the ball up. Rolling ball towards Pritis again. Couldn't trap it. Kick out of the pack. Fortuitously lands with Swallow. And now Rawlings.
This is good play.
Sainsbury wanted to play on. He's got Harvey. He goes over the head. Jones dives. And he's paid the mark.
Now, if they can get it going forward, what's happened in the restructure here, West Coast is so often they've ended up with a 7-man forward line, and it's pretty heavy tracking. They've been doing well despite it. That's Worsfold's go. But if they get it through and they can open up, they don't have a frontal attack for the people coming out of the middle.
Yep.
And they've got a 4-man forward line with that huge of space to go in any direction they want to.
Another important kick for the Kangaroos. Time on now, second term, and that's a spear. Straight through the middle. And they can smell it again.
Well, it was probably the most timely goal of the day, I would say. I think this game was developing into a very one-sided contest as far as I was concerned. But that was actually set up extremely well with some intelligent structuring, some good ball movement and terrific finish to the player who then turned around and converted. I've got a great deal of time for young Jones, and he might be the key to this in the finish.
Two goals now for Corey Jones. The captain, Adam Simpson, is off, and they'll need some of their other captains like Corey Jones, who captained them in round 22 last year, to stand up in this last 7 minutes of the second term. From the ball up, Petrie slaps it down. Kerr left it behind. Sainsbury dives in. Swallow extracts it, and he's away. Just pokes the pass a little too wide. Hale on the run. Schofield, Hale, the 231s, and the ball rolls out of play.
And down on the boundary line, Rowan Smith. I guess it was a major tactical win for John Worsfold with McMahon coming from the ground.
Yeah, well, he was a danger in the first quarter, Jared, as you know, but Hunter was just running off him. And as we speak at the moment, North Melbourne have gone tall with McIntosh and Hale in their forward line, so they're just trying to stretch West Coast at the moment.
Swallow too high on Pritis, not happy with the decision. And he had his arm around the neck as he was arguing about it. Selwood. And he bounces through half back. Ton of time. Kerr. And he just pokes it towards half forward, made it impossible for Lacroix. Stingline missed the target. Embley, Braun, and now Armstrong. Kicks it inside 50. Rapunda down there. Got a fist on it. Quentin Lynch lifts the arms with the handball. Missed the target. Ferrito, he missed the target. He'll need to tie this up, Ferrito. Keep it in. Casey Green dives in, and they succeed.
Well, they're blowing the Kangaroos, but he had no chance to get rid of it. No prior opportunity, and
the umpire just let it go a bit long to see whether it would come out. But you're right. Instantaneous tackle and take can't be a free kick.
From the ball up. The natives a little restless here at the Dome. Kangaroos in trouble. Hamill get another ball up between full forward and centre half forward for the Coasters.
Yeah, they need to get it. Swallows win when they force the ball out, but it's the kick on the finish that it's how good you are on the clearance to open it up. And he had young Hale free, couldn't get it to him.
And Cox with a big knockdown. Swallow. And now Harris. No one to go too forward. Rawlings.
Well, they're all behind the ball, John.
Harris. Now he chips it, and Petrie presents, and he's played the mark. Finger tipper before it hit the turf. And that's a terrible kick. Turns it over to Hearn.
Well, if they could get one more goal, the Kangaroos, I reckon going in a three-quarter at the half-time with just a 15-point deficit would be probably an injustice to how much the Eagles have dominated, but it'd give them a chance, the Kangaroos, to maintain competitive in this match.
Jones to Hearn. Into trouble and out of trouble, long and high. Staker can't bring it down. Judd the Crumb loops it to Lynch. Gets the handball off. Little push in the back, and that was enough to push Lecrar off balance. Only a behind. Rowan.
Just an update on Adam Simpson. They fixed his eye, so he's right to come back on. But while he was on the bench as well, they re-strapped his ankle as well. So he should be back on the next couple of minutes.
Well, that's good news. They need the superstars out there. 5 minutes to half-time. An important 5 minutes coming up as McMahon breaks through. Rawlings. And he just hacks it high, hoping for Petrie. Flies and holds it.
Good grab. He's been a presence down there.
Doesn't want to go for goal. Centering kick. But Hearn gets back and thumps it through for a behind.
Smart, because they definitely have got an aerial advantage, haven't they? If they get it to their key forwards, the Kangaroos, it's just not, the delivery's not been right.
Cox, who started this afternoon on the bench. Armstrong, who was there with him.
He's got to bypass Smith.
And he doesn't crunch. Quentin Lynch's knee in your back is as hard as it'll get. And he might have his number taken. He does. Well, it was late enough, but it wasn't super late.
Could have been avoided.
Well,
I reckon it could have. I think he's in trouble.
Yeah, and 50, so this could turn the momentum a little bit. Jesse Smith from 50. Massive kick. Has his 21st birthday on grand final day. Wouldn't that be a massive present for him? And he lines it up, loads it up.
Well, you called it, Jared. That's the one they needed before going to half time, and it came out of a good physical presence. The kids bounced up again as only Jesse Smith would do and put it away, and that's exactly the response you want.
It wasn't just a goal either. I mean, this game was dead as far as I was concerned. But
no doubt.
There's just a glimmer of hope now, because that has upset a lot of Kangaroos players, that incident with the big Quentin Lynch. And it just might have an impact on this game later in the match.
Great to see that acknowledged by his teammates, because that is a superb effort. Courage and skill personified.
And good to see him back as a player as well. Jesse Smith, severe ankle problems. 6 games back in 2005, but none last year. From the ball up.
They're incensed at the moment, the Kangaroos. They need just to lock down. If you're in the Eagles box, I reckon just lock her up for three-quarter time.
Finds Sainsbury.
Half-time, sorry.
Sends it along. McMahon flies. Big pack of players up. McMahon almost brought it down. Swallow. Stole it. Tried to get a kick away. Dump. Brought down. Good tackle. And we'll get a ball up, you would think, about 30 metres out from the Kangaroo goal. It's game on again.
Oh, and I love that pack marking. I love the packs. There were about 8 or 9 in that one, all going after, not to spoil it, but all after the ball.
Petrie down. Kerr caught. Rosa caught. Selwood caught. Embley shoots a handball in the Kerr direction. He ran on well, took them on. Back to Rosa. Turnover. Sainsbury. Dragged down, but got a little trickling handball away. Jesse Smith there, forced to tackle Prittis. Kerr caught by Archer's boot. Flicks it up to Wells. He's good with those little accidents, Glenn Archer, and we'll get a ball in.
These ones taking the tension string up as tight as can be at the moment. Archie's going to kill somebody out there.
Yeah, I think he was the one. It was almost the look in his eye when his man Smith went down. It certainly changed this game temporarily at the moment. We'll see what happens.
And Cousins was the man who changed it first time around, but stolen by Simpson, who finds McMahon inside 50, and it just travelled to 15. He's already kicked 2, both in the opening term, and with 2 minutes left on the clock before half-time. This is a massive kick.
What about the ferocity of Simpson's charge over the ground and take it between the two West Coast blokes? Fantastic captain's effort.
There's a hush in the crowd. Kangaroo fans who've been restless for about 20 minutes didn't like what they saw then. And it's only a behind. Good crowd in. Not a massive crowd by Telstra Dome standards, but Kangaroos aren't big drawers, but this afternoon they've got a good portion of their fans here for this contest for second spot on the ladder. Selwood, Cousins, brought down. They enjoyed that. Swallow, who's been instrumental in all this, he's caught, and we'll get a ball up.
Good effort, Prittis, but they've gone up. Since that incident on centre wing, they've gone up, I reckon, 35% in their intensity, the Kangaroos. They've woken up the beast.
Well, sometimes as a coach you want that to happen. You know, one of your blokes knocked about or ruined or anything like that, but by gee, it tweaks it up.
Harris got a handball out. Simpson shoots it wide to Harvey. Hasn't had a big afternoon yet. Oh, it's getting bigger now.
Dwayne, he's had an ordinary afternoon. You're right. But he tell you what, it got a lot better right then, as you said. It was a good call. But it was Harris in once again. Simpson again, David. You've been pumped up. I've just noticed you've gone up a notch or two. That jugular's just starting to pulsate, as are the Kangaroos. But we've got a game again because the Eagles are here to play as well.
Well, that...
First goal of the afternoon for Brent Harvey. 63-55. 1 minute 19 left on the clock in what's been a classic second term. The West Coast broke away. The Roos are coming back hard. Petrie towards Harris, but he left it behind. Seaby to Kerr. Dump, driven into the turf, no free. Rawlings tries to break free. Harris does, but left it behind. Prittis got a kick away. Casey Green trying to inspire his new team against his old, and he's tied up, and we'll get a pull up Harris.
Oh, that's a bit
in
sad.
the middle of it.
When Harris came back 4 times then, he got 3 handles, and unfortunately just didn't control the ball, which he's normally just an expert at.
Tell you what, though, his intensity's been infectious. Prittis now right onto him. They know the Eagles that he's the man at the moment.
Free kick to Petrie against Seaby, arm across the throat. So Petrie at half-back. Chip wide. Casey Green. 40 seconds and counting. Maybe one last roll of the dice, hoping for a 6. 63-55. He puts it towards attacking 50. Rapunda gets there but drops it. Selwood. Lacroix Braun. Pritis. And he misses Stengline.
Got to hit those targets. He's going to keep his spot on this side. He's got to get his possessions up and more accurate.
Rosa turned it over to Harris. Still a chance here for the Kangaroos. Sainsbury. 11 seconds left. Thinks about going all the way. Centres the kick towards Wells, who gets the fly. Can't mark it. All about the crumb. McMahon's there. Can't trap it. Seconds ticking away. Simpson needed to shoot rather than shoot the handball out. But they're back, the Kangaroos. They might not have the lead, but we have a contest. And the toughness of players like Glenn Archer, Swallow in the middle, Harris, as opposed to the smooth ball movement and the magnificence of Judd, Cousins and co for the West Coast. This is game on. Second spot on the ladder up for grabs tonight. The Kangaroos 8-7-55. The West Coast 9-9-63.
Are the only ones who've gone over 10.
And I reckon if you named the best 10 players on the ground, probably only Drew Petrie and maybe Harris would get in.
Exactly.
From the ball up, Cox, who started on the bench, starts in the ruck in this second half. Cousins and Pritis work it between them. Wide ball and a hamstring for Embley. Moran picks it up to Sinclair. And all Kangaroos' eyes on the players with the ball, but Embley in the hands of trainers. For West Coast fans, that's terrible news. Harvey, chip kick, Sainsbury, and he pokes it wide. Simpson. So a dramatic start to this third term. Around the body, tough one for Watt. He's got Harvey if he wants him. He ignores it to Archer. Looks up. McMahon, the target, flies. Got hands to it. And punch clear. He will get a ball in. And there's Embley coming off.
And it's a bad one, Dwayne. There's no doubt about it. He stopped dead in just a running effort with hands above his head to get to the marking contest. That'll be a number of weeks.
Yeah, you should reckon his next game would be a final.
Ball back into play. Knocked down to Rosa. Kick toward half forward. Back with the flight. Armstrong took the mark. A little bit of protection from Brent Staker, who called him in.
Embley's pretty important this side too, Jared, because he does play midfield, but he goes forward and takes a mark.
Towards half forward and a good fist out of play. Well, how important, I suppose, the last two grand finals show. 16 possessions in the losing grand final, but 26 last year and 2 goals too. And the Norm Smith in the winner.
Yeah, he was the only one who went away with 2 medals on the day, Dwayne. And they were 2 of the best medals you'd ever want.
Exactly. Wells, wide, and Ferrito.
Well, you wouldn't swap him for anything else, would you, Jared?
No, that's the most looked-for double in the game.
Sure, he'd like one of yours too, Jared. Hale has it at half forward, chips it to Jones, marks on 50, and he might be just beyond his range.
There's just a couple of signs here, David. They wouldn't be comfortable in the box in the Eagles right now.
Centering kicks, Stengline back in the hole, takes the mark.
But if they're going to get more squirmy than that, those kicks have got to be better than that from Jones. That was an opportunity gone wasting.
And he is a good user, both in general play and round the goal.
Hampson to Rosa.
Enjoyed this kid's game today, David. He's lots of talent.
And brave.
He's got to continue to get the consistency element.
Low trajectory kick, made it tough for Staker. Dives back into the back of Simpson a little. Pritis back to Rosa again. Mops up a little bit of a mess. The 2 All-Australian ruck contenders go at it. McIntosh and Cox. Ball knocked down to Hanson. Slipped through Cox's hands. Sainsbury dives in, but is caught. Shrugs the tackle. Runs through trouble to Watt.
Defence of the Kangaroos just standing tall at the moment. Hanson actually missed the short. It was Hunter. He'd pushed forward. He was on his own again.
McIntosh, Archer, Simpson combined. Ball slipped forward. Casey Green, McMahon, Archer runs straight through Rosa. Goose stepped him in the wobbly kick off the side, but he intended it. Hale jumps in and hands to Petrie. Lines up from 45. They're back. They are back in a big way.
Oh, yeah, and you'd think of Blake like Wells, who absolutely ran over and mucked up. He's totally out of form and should have controlled the ball. They're doing it without some of their absolute guns, but the work rate now is up and going, and they've been able to. I thought it might dissipate over the half-time break, but it hasn't happened. They're up and going.
And this is Glenn Archer just getting the ball forward. He gets it again. Now Rosa should have put him away there. He had to get in harder with his legs, get him behind the big body.
I think the look in the eyes enough for the bloke who's heading up Archer front on. I think he thinks I'll just oolay a bit here and let him through.
2 goals for Drew Petrie, 27 for the season now.
2 points of difference. It's almost unbelievable that it's 2 points to the difference. The Kangaroos are here by stealth.
Simpson, and they might take the lead here. Sansbury, he can smell it, wants to go all the way, loads up and touched on the line.
He's going to pay the free.
On the goal line, no behind. Rowan Smith.
Just an update on Andrew Embley, boys. Walked past me, very despondent and very disappointed, I suppose. But the physio didn't even check him out. They know that he's done his hammy, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. And
what about Ferrito? Any update there?
No, I'm not too sure, Jared. I'll just try and find out on that one.
It's giving him some homework, Jared. Cox sends it wide, and the mark taken by Will Schofield. It's been okay in game number 2. Stengline inside 50 towards Lynch, who had his number taken in the second term in an incident that seemed to revive the Kangaroos. He dives back in, caught by Ferrito, shrugs Ferrito, and there's a free kick. It'll go to Kerr, and he'll have a shot from 48. Quentin Lynch and Ferrito go on with it. And the crowd not happy with that free. Daniel Kerr, he can have the last laugh. They might be booing him. He's had a controversial season, but he could still finish it with an All-Australian jumper and a premiership. They'll line up from 50.
As we saw, it's been a long time since their last goal.
From 52, low trajectory, and he spears it home. He's behind. Gee, look through to me. Must have been touched on the line. Pratt. Watt. Green. So a reprieve for the Kangaroos to half forward to Jones. The 2 Joneses. This time Sansbury runs in, and he kissed it sweetly this time. They are back in front.
You don't get a better front and square than that. He was absolute at maximum speed when he took it off his toes in the front position, and the speed got him clear of anybody that was going to lay a hand on him. And it only didn't come up quite as sweetly as Drain thought it did, but it certainly got through okay. Died a bit on the line.
It's just an amazing game. It was dead and buried, I reckon, 20 minutes into the second quarter. The real issue is, when will they put Chris Judd on the ball, or will they maintain their structure and keep Chris Judd in the goal square, or do eventually you bring him on?
Well, it's saying something about where he's in his body, because right now they do need him, and he certainly has been launched. They might do it a critical part of the finish.
12 possessions now for Sansbury. They need Cousins to fire. Comes at it with Harvey. They collide. Sinclair turn out of trouble, and a torpedo to half forward.
Free kick.
Petrie dragged down. Umpire said play on.
Geez, I thought it was actually Glass's free kick, Dwayne.
Schofield. Okay. Smith. And he does well, Jesse Smith. To McIntosh. To Swallow. And now Petrie. They're lining up for it. He kicks around the body, and there was a little slack, that kick. Boundary line looming, and it's dragged over by Hunter.
Well, that was slack, because he's actually been good at those the whole year. His direct shots and his round-the-body shots have all had distance and accuracy.
Maybe the umpire's got it right, Jared. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Well, I would have gone for the 6 of one, all the Eagles.
Looked as if he was dragged out a little to me. Simpson, Sansbury, Grant, centering kick. McMahon gets there, can't mark it. Hale off hands, he can shoot. Left foot, he's bounced it, and only Cox could have stopped it. It would have been a goal otherwise.
Great call.
What's most interesting, though, Dwayne, I mean, the Eagles, they've lost their run.
They have.
Hunter gets it from Jones, and they can take a breath.
And the Kangaroos have actually found some run.
Have they? What? That is an amazing piece of footage. Great positioning by Big Cox, but the way it came through was typical of that ball.
Selwood towards Hanson, Staker, and now Armstrong. He's got Kerr on if he wants him. He doesn't. He goes toward the pocket. Lynch is down there. Ferrito, free kick against him. And Lynch will line up.
Well, he owes the one, the big fella. He has been as much a part of creating this problem as anybody, so he's got to do something about rectifying it.
How did you see that, Jared?
Nice and soft, I reckon.
I would have thought that was play on, Dwayne.
Oh, yeah. Gee.
So the three umpires up here didn't think it was.
Well, he's contributed by the way he's pushing in and around and pulling the bloke up. He actually contributed to that.
So Quentin Lynch, whose number's in the book, lines up and wobbles it into the post.
The football gods are with us.
Pratt, Sinclair, Harvey, starting to have an impact after a quiet first half.
Good effort.
And a magnificent spoil. It should have been ball. Was ball, and it wasn't play on advantage. Cousins ran into trouble. Stengline hacks it inside 50, and there's no one at home. Watt to Pratt. Sainsbury. This has been an unbelievable revival by the Kangaroos. It's been a trademark of their season, perhaps. Against the odds all year, against the odds again here. Well played, Schofield. Selwood, Rosa, Jones, and the boundary line was a win for him.
And plenty of advice for the umpire there, and it's all through.
Sainsbury's got some real toe, hasn't he, Jared? He gets over the ground really quickly. He's been a real key in this bit.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they brought Thomas into this side suggests to me that they reckon that they could, if they could hold on midway through the game, they could hold on, they could use their run to get an advantage late.
Cox, Braun, Wirapunda, and now Cousins combine at half-back. Wirapunda. And now Braun can run on the wing. He's got some space. Had to wait for it. Kerr. Hunter. 67 to 65. Halfway through this third term. Under the roof at the Dome. Playing for second spot on the ladder. Staker. Held up. 23 games last year, but not the grand final. Big year for him. Sends it long, top of the square. Lynch from 5 deep. Judd at the back. Ferrito thumped it away from him. Simpson. Little help from Smith, who gave him a shepherd. Gets rewarded with the handball. No one to go to. Grant. Another player with a quiet first half to Pratt. The man the Kangaroos drafted, let go. Was picked up by the Lions, played a few games, and is now back at the Kangaroos.
Well, Darren Glass is even in their forward line at the moment.
Grant.
And the runners out to Darren Glass. They're just talking about how they're going to deal with it. They'll get another opportunity here.
I thought he was just running back into some good form, Grant, but that is indicative of Blake who's struggling.
Staker to Cox, who feeds off like a rover, sends it in the Hanson direction. Judd flies but can't mark it, and a free again to the West Coast. This one to Hanson.
Oh, I think they'd done the hard work. Judd might have seen that incorrectly. I think they'd done the hard work and got rid of the ball and then just followed up over the top of Judd. Wasn't necessary. I might have seen that incorrectly. But he's pulled him down.
Well, there was Chris Judd jumping for that one. Let's have a look at this one, see how high he gets off the ground. He's clearly limited, in my view, with that problem. That's why he's sitting in the goal square. I'm sure jumping for the grabs is his go when he can be so quick on the ground.
Possession number 11 for Ashley Hanson, and he gives the Eagles back the lead.
And there's a bit happening afterwards.
There's a bit happening off the ball everywhere. I thought McMahon earlier was pushed down frontal way off the ball by Hunter on his back, and nothing was done about that. The umpires missed it totally. So they want to get out of control of this game.
Let's have a look at his free kick. There it is. He just stumbled forward, Pratt. Took Hanson out of it. It's a good decision in the finish.
'71 plays 67. It's shaping as a classic. These two teams could even meet on the last Saturday afternoon in September. And there's a little bit of push and shove, but nothing too much from it. Certainly no free. The umpires were right there. Cousins through traffic. Kerr knocked away by Swallow. Well, comes out in the Harris direction, but he's mauled, and we'll get another ball up.
David, I reckon the Kangaroos have got to be more Cousins conscious of these centre clearances.
He's just so good, isn't he?
Rawlings is with him at the moment, but he's just been ball watching a couple of times, and he just ducks out the back and gets away.
Gone again.
Seaby to Kerr, had no space, still got the kick away. Watt, Hansen, boundary line the sanctuary, and he disguised it well enough. And not enough West Coast Eagles fans here to give a roar with Ashley Hansen for deliberate. Get a ball in.
Well, the workload then. Cousins went laterally out of the square to the wing, down into the 50, and Rawlings was just trotting out of the square straight down the corridor.
And another free, this time to the West Coast Eagles. Seaby against Hamish McIntosh. Last 6 free kicks to the West Coast, and you've got to say that looked to be there.
Well, he's been having a long look at it, McIntosh, and I hope he learned by it.
71 plays 67. Just the 5 possessions so far for the afternoon for Mark Seaby, and he gets his first goal. This is an amazing contest.
He's not bad big for a big bloke. My stats are right. He's kicked 16-4 for the season, Dwayne, and that's not bad for a bloke who's long distance between the hand and the foot.
Well, there's a free kick, and I think we've seen it enough times now on replay to suggest it was a good decision and one that Hamish McIntosh has got to look at and get out of his game. But you're right, David, this guy, he just keeps growing as a player, and they've got now Cox and Seaby in their artillery.
Back to a 10-point margin in favour of the West Coast. Kangaroos have only had 1 win in their last 8 games against the West Coast Eagles. But the Kangaroos have won their last 5 games here at the Telstra Dome.
Holding on,
the ball up.
And listen to the roar. Yeah, just a little bit of a grab there of the jumper by Prittis onto Harris, and he's going to relay this off to Harvey.
He wanted 50, didn't get it. Casey Green was one side, Harvey the other. He goes Green, long. Inside 50, back of the pad. Thomas has kicked the goal.
Oh, he did that well, Jared. I don't know much about Thomas. I haven't seen him play all that much footy, but he looked like Sansbury. He came off real quick in the right spot, gathered, and under real pressure put it away. That's a terrific effort for young bloke.
Well, there was a high draft pick, and saw him in a NAB Cup game earlier in the season, and he looked a very good player. But then he took a little bit of time to get his position in the side. He got to go, then he lost it, but he's a player.
First kick of the afternoon for Lindsay Thomas. Spent most of the afternoon on the bench. And the 19-year-old has been a little inaccurate in front of goal this year, but that was straight through the middle. 73-77. And the Kangaroos get the clearance. Petrie coming at it. McMahon hands to Swallow. Kicks toward Jones. It was a half volley. Umpire was wise to it. And now he's tackled, and we'll get a ball up.
And the unbiased Kangaroo supporters are giving it to the umpires. It was a dead set half volley. They could all see, but just thought another reason to give it to him.
We've got to hope that the umpire doesn't see it correctly. Thomas again tries to extract it. Swallow through traffic, shoots a handball out. Swallow's dumped behind play, and the ball dragged out of play.
And so was Thomas, Dwayne.
Let's have a look at this one from Corey Jones. Been a lot of these for the Kangaroos, and he made a good fist of it.
He did. Kick around the body from Casey Green. It's all about the bounce. Petrie can't get a kick on it. Knocked down. Prittis dragged down, tackled. Swallow the kick.
In the back line.
And the free kick will go to the West Coast.
He was stiff too, because he buckled it at knees, did Prittis. It was...
He pitched himself forward.
Yeah.
Very odd,
Would have been a big goal.
Oh, happens in all sports, doesn't it? Should be a red card for those blokes.
The dive.
Yeah.
Hunter to Rosa. He's had a good afternoon at the office. Kicks to half forward to Armstrong. Off hands. Quentin Lynch lifted the arms above the head to get the handball away, but missed the target. Armstrong, Braun, Kerr, from 50. Archer hunts him down, gets the kick away. Didn't want to have a shot, went to Hansen and missed.
Well, we've got some great feeling, even with not a massive crowd here. There's some good feeling in this game.
Angry Kangaroo supporters there. And they've had a great year. What a ride they've had this season with everybody against them seemingly. No one tips them, and yet they're just 5 points behind the premiership favourites.
They're great value, they really are.
Good hands from Hale. Marks at half-back. He's got Moran wide. Ignored that. Petrie's the target. One-on-one with Glass. Fist wins out, down to Moran. Dragged down. Got a toe on the ball. And a tie-up will get a ball up on the wing. 78-73. And we're about to tick into time on third term. And Ben Cousins having a rest. And the ball up. Hale knocked it down to Simpson. High kick towards half forward. Thomas can't trap it. We'll get another ball in. Pick 53 in last year's draft. Didn't play last week. Lindsay Thomas, one of the players brought into the team for this week's game from Port Adelaide's SANFL team. Back into play. Hale knocked it down, and there's a mass of players around this ball. We'll get another ball up.
Well, contested clearances at the moment is running just slightly in the favour of the Kangaroos.
From outside 50. Cox. Selwood. Trapped it, was caught. Harris dives. It is tough in there.
Oh, it is, Dwayne. You've called, I mean, the numbers that are peeling off before the balls get given to the umpires, a clear indication of the intensity and the situation this game now finds itself.
And the ball up. Good 1-2. Hale. Harris tries to break free with it. Wirapunda does to Kerr. To the open wing.
Well, Kerr's on Sainsbury at the moment. He's got to get back on him because he's cutting this game apart.
Judd leads short. Kerr thinks about going all the way. He waited too long. Archer read it. Dives in, stolen back. Cox's handball missed the target. Judd, leg strength. Shrugged the tackle. Slips it to Lynch from 50. Distance not the worry, nor the accuracy.
Big goal from DeCustick. That's the one he owed them.
You nominated that one. He's delivered, Jared.
Have a look at Daniel Kerr, though. He just wants to go on that left foot for some reason. And maybe it's just coincidental.
You reckon he actually changed his mind halfway through the kick to try and deliver it rather than kick the goal?
It did seem to me to be the case, but Chris Judd, he's pushed up out of that goal square and he's finally got involved.
2-2 now for Quentin Lynch. He might have won the last 2 grand finals had he played in both of them. And he's now edging up towards the 50-goal mark for the season. He's kicked 36 for the year from the ball up. Coming in hard, Armstrong. He was met heavily, but legally. And we'll get another ball up.
It's an interesting decision by the Kangaroos, David, to let Kerr go. Effectively, Sainsbury is going his way and Kerr's going the other.
Cox ties up with McIntosh. Down to Simpson. To half forward and Glass.
He's a gun, this bloke. He's had a great battle with Petrie today, but he is a champion.
Who have you got in? Scald or Glass at the moment at full-back in the All-Australian team, Jared?
Both.
Prittis. Yeah, one on the bench. That'll do. Wide kick. Schofield runs the wing. Short to Hansen. Braun. Judd's inside 50, looming dangerously. Pratt's with him. Well played by Pratt. Judd ties him up, tries to extract it. Moran, Archer, Seaby, Judd, dragged down, Sainsbury, Judd! Oh. And he kicks across the face.
He doesn't go to ground, though. Oh. I've never seen a player that can keep his feet more than Chris Judd ever.
But it was a super tackle, and he still escaped.
It's the powerful leg strength. And Sainsbury just went with the arm tackle in the finish. He just flicked a gluteus muscle and bang, he went off.
Well, the man that had the name The Reptile when he first joined the Kangaroos, Pratt kicks in to Archer. 2 tough boys combining, and they need every bit of toughness they can muster to win this one. The Kangaroos, they're playing against the reigning premiers. They're making a good fist of it. To the wing. Hamish McIntosh forced the punch, but it went down in the Hanson direction. He couldn't bend down. Green, Harvey, Archer, Swallow, missed it, but Harris was waiting. Back to Harvey, open forward line, bounces away from Prentice, short.
Play on.
Shannon Grant.
Get 8 metres.
It was 15 according to the umpire. Now the play on inside 50. Kerr the crumb. Dives in, tied up by Thomas. And the umpire will ball it up.
Jared, was just going to ask you a question. Ash Hansen in this quarter, he's just been straightening West Coast up at the moment. He couldn't bend over that time because he's been working so hard in this third quarter. He's been sensational.
Yeah, we've got shots of him as you speak, and he is fatigued, to say the least. Been a big effort by him.
Stenglein gets a little kick away. Braun shrugged the tackle, looped a bit high, no free. Prentice lost it. Simpson to Grant. To the goal square. Pretty good kick off the boot. McIntosh. And they come from everywhere to pat him on the back. He's been a great story. He was lost in the wilderness for a little while. 8 screws and a metal plate inserted into his ankle. But after that injury setback, he is back in a big, big way. He's had an outstanding season. Hamish McIntosh learned to play footy the hard way. His brother Adam, 5 years older than him, taught about how to get a hard ball in the backyard, as all older brothers should. And this a massive kick for the Roos. He's missed.
I'll tell you what was really good there, and Adam Hunter just delivered a little elbow on the way through, but Adam Hunter, he conceded not one degree of angle. He took the mark, McIntosh, but he did not lose sight of what his job was. He is right in the zone at the moment, Hunter.
Rapunda to Braun with some space. Stenglein. Braun can get it back. Kerr. Braun, no. Over to Schofield again.
Sainsbury's not the man for Kerr.
Hunter. And now Rapunda. They've created the loose man well. Braun on the wing. He's held up. 85 to 74. 11-point margin. 26 minutes gone, third term. 3.5 left. To half forward. McMahon gets back and takes it across the line. Ball in. And a hush in this crowd again. These two teams could well meet in September and might well be the last Saturday. And if this kind of contest would be happy. Holding the ball against Kerr. Already was dumped by Ferrito. And it's going back to Kerr. It's been turned over.
I mean, that's undisciplined work at its worst. They're struggling to stay in and develop momentum, and having gained a difficult ball in their back half, had to take it off them by Ferrito dealing with Kerr off the play. Absolute stupidity.
There wasn't a lot in the contact, but there was no real need to make any contact at all. This is possession number 22 for Daniel Kerr. He's got 2 behind so far this afternoon. He bends it back beautifully. Pressure goal on cue.
Well, how often does the game change, Jared, by individuals who just go beyond their disciplinary framework and cause... I mean, I thought Lynch's one the other way, stimulated... Certainly stimulated the Kangaroos, and now Ferrito, who's been a very good player and a tough role, is doing absolutely a waste of time. Nothing happens except he loses the ball.
And he knows he's got to deal with his coach in about 10 minutes.
Looks could kill. Everybody looking at Ferrito at the moment from the ball up.
Well, if there's any consolation, it could be worse, because he's got to go and see his coach, but he could be seeing David Parkin.
Wells inside 50 towards Thomas. Read it well. Out-read Warapunda. And that's hard to do.
He's done well, this kid. I think I reckon you're right, Jared. I know what you saw in him some time ago. The kid can absolutely play.
Well, I reckon it was in it was either Canberra or I think it might have been the Gold Coast. We saw him Gold Coast, I think. And there's no question he knows where the goals are. He missed a few that night, but he also kicked a couple. And he's a talent.
He's kicked 10 goals, 18 this year, so it can be a little erratic. And he's missed.
That's his issue. He's just got to get that sorted out.
So 10 goals, 19, and really in modern football you can't afford to be worse than 50-50. And he's a lot worse. 75-91, Hearn.
Now this guy is one of the great kicks in the game at the moment.
And like a laser, picked out Petrie in the middle of three Eagles. Sinclair, Shannon Grant. And he might be within range. He can launch a ball.
He's looking to give it off because I don't think he's got the confidence at the moment to deliver what he should deliver here. Beautiful kick, one of the best converters I've seen.
So he spears it in the Thomas direction. Can't mark. Wirapunda read it well, but missed with the handball. Rosa tried to mop it up. Harvey sold the dummy, and he's kicked across the face.
Geez, he's got one of the best sidesteps in the game, has Harvey. So electric.
Wirapunda. Braun, Staker, Rosa. Free kick, but play on advantage to the West Coast. Pritis. Cox in the corridor. Thought about playing on. Shannon Grant just needed to be a little bit quieter as he ran towards him. Rosa looks up. The lead is on. Lacroix dumped. Crumbs it. Look away handball to Lynch. And you need to look away at that kick because it wasn't good to watch.
It's just gone out into Burke Street.
So Daniel Pratt with the ball back pocket. 21 seconds left. You know the equation. Just needs to maintain possession without turning it over. McMahon. Run down by Seaby. Kicks to the wing. Bouncing ball. There's a race on. Hearn and Grant, and Hearn wins. One last roll of the dice. One for the West Coast. They need a mark on 50. Hearn looks up. Hands off to Schofield. He's never kicked a goal. Loads up from 52. He's missed on the siren.
Geez, he moved well, though. That was a pretty impressive move by the West Coast Eagles. Hearn off that half-back line continues to develop as a player. And Will Schofield, we've only seen a couple of his performances, but on the basis of that charge, David, he's got plenty to offer when he gets a bit bigger.
Well, if you're breaking in at that size and shape, you've got to be able to play in this team.
They can all play, and they're playing well this afternoon, both teams. Big final term coming up. The West Coast lead, 13-14-92. The Kangaroos, 11-10-76. What an assignment with Judd at full forward. Final term underway. McIntosh against Cox, and Cox gets the clearance. Kicks inside 50. Almost Staker. Had a lot of it, but not enough. Jesse Smith. Archer hacks it out of the area towards the wing. Rosa has had a splendid afternoon. Selwood. And from the midfield, wastes no time. Hanson short. Can't collect it. Simpson dumped. And we'll get a ball up.
Dwayne, you said almost Staker. I'm a big fan of Brent Staker. I've followed him closely in his development. He also missed the premiership. It's time, David, that almost Staker became fully blown Top Gun Staker.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be an A grade. I think he'll be an A plus up. I don't think he's reached that stage and has had the opportunity to be so on a good side.
Well, that's the challenge for him. I think he can transform at forward line. He's got so much class and polish, but he's got to just stop the little fumble here or the poor execution there and just get that element out of his game to take the next step to be a gun.
Crowd not happy with that. Deliberate. He was 23 games last year, but not the grand final. From the kick to half forward. Little toe poke inside 50. Race on. Pratt and Judd were there. Selwood shrugs the tackle. Hands off to Kerr. Onto the right foot. It's a wobbler. Hits the post.
Well, Daniel Wells' effort, which is one that you nominated, and he's the obvious key that has the class to be able to break the game open. But even that, he got a bad bounce and a broken tackle. He's had 11 for the day, and you know, that's about half the value that he should be giving.
Pratt to Harvey. 93-76. Moran holds it up. Game number 3 for him. And now Rawlings, well measured kick. Just over the head of Rosa.
He's got the big ruckman sitting in the middle of the ground, but Quentin Lynch had him covered off pretty well.
And Archer takes it across the boundary line. Get a ball in.
Well, that's the sort of kick, though. Ruling's top-class professional bloke. Can't hit a target there, and immediately they lose control of the ball.
And the ball in. McIntosh and Cox, two of the best ruckmen in the competition, head-to-head. Closing stages of this game. Magnificent tackle. Not rewarded for Cousins.
Oh, well done, Swallow. He had his head ripped off there.
Swallow, McDougall, they're all in there. And Swallow, of course, a Western Australian boy, captain WA's under-18 team, and was All-Australian as an under-18. Andrew Swallow.
It's dreadful miss, wasn't it?
In fact, he worked for a West Coast Eagles travel agency when he was in WA. And he's over it again. Dives back in and lays the tackle. Swallow on Pritis, and we'll get a ball up.
And a bit of premium the goals now, Jared. This has tightened up dramatically.
It might be him on cue. Then he kicked the winner in that thriller against Melbourne earlier this year, Andrew Swallow. Wells chips wide to Sainsbury. Good build-up. Open forward line. A long kick. Giarch is going to have to fly here. Gets a fist on it. Hunter. Pritis. Hunter. Straight down the corridor. Selwood. Back to Hunter, gives Harris to Donaghy, but turns it over with the handball. Harvey knows there must be targets free. Hamish McIntosh, 60 out. Thinks about going for goal, goes towards Archer. Flies, can't mark, knocks it down. Swallow gets the handball up just in time. That'll make Casey Green feel good. Against the old mob, he brings the new mob closer.
Good goal by Casey Green, and he's just a good footy story, David. Basically traded away his career at the Crossroads, and on the turnaround, he's been an excellent player for the Kangas.
It's taken some time. Yeah. You know, he didn't look like he was going to go to the next level, but he certainly has now. What was interesting, though, Hunter did the run all the way, and his little Mick Marnblake was trotting along behind. And when the ball did finally turn over, McMahon should have got on his bike and just, he was the obvious one who's going to be free, and he sort of semi-watched and half ran and couldn't make the advantage of it.
Casey Green, of course, played in the losing grand final 2 years ago, but forced to watch the West Coast Eagles, his old teammates, win last year. Armstrong, run down, little push to the buttock. Stengline, Pritis, tries the Donaghy on Rawlings, back to Stengline. Now Armstrong spins it around to the top of the square. Ferrito's fist wins out. McIntosh tried to steal it. Hanson gave it to Judd, and he kicked out of bounds on the full. The crowd enjoyed that. So did Pratt. It's reached a magnificent level, this game. 93 plays 82, and it's still a thriller. You can tell September's not far away. Wells, wide, Braun, shrugs Simpson, sends it inside 50, misses, and Moran takes the mark.
Well, Wells has had a couple, so you know, that might be a lift in his confidence. If he was to blinder a 10 or 12 possession quarter, this might just help them.
Moran wearing that famous number 18. Of course, he didn't know who Wayne Carey was 5 years ago when his family moved to Australia from England. Now playing the game that intoxicates the land. Harvey at half-back as everybody waits. Back to Moran. And he holds it up with some poise.
It's a good decision to hold. He was about to get slaughtered by the big man.
Chip kick. Ferrito made it his. Sainsbury. Cousins in pursuit. Jesse Smith tries to shrug the tackle. Hearn somehow stole it and found Quentin Lynch, who is on his own.
He's got him a target here.
Hanson's the target. He hits him. 55 out. Judd leads. Hanson looks at going all the way. Goes with the banana. Unbelievable.
Well, that was an audacious act of football, David. I looked at it and I thought, he hasn't, and he has.
Yeah, it was a great kick, and it came off before Ferrito got left high and dry. He was, when the ball finally got returned to Lynch out there on the track, who delivered to Hanson. He was still coming out the back 50, Ferrito.
There's a couple of targets up the top. I'm glad it went through for him because there's a lot of blokes ready to have a crack. But the big boomer went through.
He's a pretty efficient player, Hansen, though, isn't he? He's, for whatever reason, is a wonderful key to their team performances over the last couple of years.
And a good decision by the big Q stick to find the target instead of just launching one.
Cousins straight through the middle, spears it to Rosa, and he lines up for 2 in 20 seconds. They can taste victory now.
Well, that's a way to put the dagger in the heart. 2 quick goals and 2 sensational individual efforts. Good tap here by the big man. Got it over to his mate and Cousins. Cousins was ready there to go, but he was, as I think instructed, came inside the corridor. Could have gone to Cox, who'd pushed forward. Could have handballed to him, but we know now, given that he's done it twice today, that he can kick from 50, and there have been 2 big goals.
23-point margin. Can the Kangaroos come back one last time? Now, the best part of 4 goals down earlier in the game and fought back 105-82. 8 minutes gone, final term. McIntosh in the ruck against him, Cox. Knocked down in the Kerr direction where Angels fear to tread to Stengline. Inside 50, getting back Watt, but he fumbled it. Quentin Lynch raked it free. Staker caught by Moran, dropped it, back into trouble, holding the ball. Free kick Moran.
Whew. Maybe a right decision. Pretty hard bloke who's making the play.
Casey Green to Hamish McIntosh. Spilled it with a little help from Stengline and illegal help. Got one to the eye as well. Florito needs to hit a target. Just pumps it long in hope. Jones is down there. Petrie's down there. Sainsbury's down there. Tries to shrug the tackle. Does shrug the tackle. And they're still in it.
Well, David, that's the modus operandi of the Kangaroos circa 2007. Get it into the forward line, back your blokes in. Crum was there. It was a nice little chip on from Casey Green. And this is where Eddie's at his best.
Well, it was, Dwayne was calling it, but he'll need to dispose of it accurately or use the ball properly. But then the proper use in that stage was to do exactly what he did do, and that's been the way they've played and got benefit from.
16 possessions, 2 goals now for Eddie Sainsbury.
And that one, I've got to say, in credit to the Kangaroos, was against Daniel Kerr.
Casey Green thumps it forward. Petrie's on the move. He's got it. He's claimed it. And he hasn't been paid it.
Yeah, I think he took it, Dwayne, as the ball hit the ground. He actually took it a long way away from here to see that, but this is what the replay actually showed. No, he didn't. No, actually, good call.
Ball knocked down by Cox to Harvey. Sinclair knocked it free, but Wells has got it. Gets his way around Selwood. Pops it to the pocket. Jones lurking. Keeps it alive. This would be a miracle from there. High kick towards the square. Kerr flies. Fumbles the mark. Archer. Strength. If anyone can get them back, Archer can.
Bit sad there that nobody actually went to Daniel Wells. I thought Daniel Wells' effort to get into that dangerous position was terrific, but fantastic. This is the stuff we like to see. Massive courage, great crumbing, and the old bloke just delivers.
Well, I reckon with the exception of last week, and maybe one game very, very early in the season, the Kangaroos have not left anything to leave on the park. They've just been a sensational team.
The shin boner of the century, who joins Wayne Schimmelbusch next week as the game's record holder for the Kangaroos with game 306, has kept his team in it. 105 plays 94. McIntosh doing well in the ruck now. Hands off to Harris. Sends it inside 50. Grant, strong hands. and he can cut it back to a 5-point lead.
Beautiful kick and placement, Harris, wasn't it? Just a delightful effort to pick the right option, put it out in front of him, and let's hope this young man can, older man, Grant can put it away, because it'd be a huge lift for the team. He struggled.
Good job by McIntosh to take the tap and then handball off the ground.
Well, the game might not be his, but he can make the moment his. He doesn't. Cox hasn't had a good afternoon at the office. Shannon Grant. Stengline. Long towards Hunter. Strong hands as well. Marks at half-back. 105-94. Now the reigning premiers, and we're seeing why. Braun to Cox. Lynch. Ferrito dumps him. Didn't have it. He dropped it, and the umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. Smith. Inside 50. Free kick. It's Petrie's ball against Glass.
14 possessions to Drew Petrie and 2 goals. Up against Darren Glass a lot of the time, most of the time. It's been a very good battle.
It has, and he's done well, really. I mean, he's been a competent player for their team.
He's kicked 2 straight. He's now kicked 2-1.
How many times we've given Blakes a rap this afternoon, and they've delivered the negative end product.
Hearn. Chip kick wide. Selwood. It's women's round, and hasn't Mrs. Selwood had a big couple of years. 3 boys now in the AFL, and maybe a 4th, although it sounds like a nightmare. It might be 4 boys in 4 different states next year. Hale.
She certainly contributed one.
She has. To Wells. Petrie running back with a flight. Glass. Strength again. And Selwood sees it across for a behind.
He's a wizard. He just makes the right decisions all the time, doesn't he, Glass? Oh, he is superb.
Selwood, who could well still play against one of his brothers in a grand final, either for the Cats or the Brisbane Lions, who are still in it. Hunter makes space, takes the mark.
Bo Waters and Daniel Chick, of course, not playing today. 2 rocks that have been in their defence for a long time.
Seeby. Critis. Judd forced to feed back onto it. Still flies and knocks it down. Pratt to Ferrito. Boundary line. He saw it. He wanted it. He got it. Ball in.
Wonder if it'd be worth throwing LaCroix back out onto the ground for the West Coast Eagles. He's a natural goal kicker. Hasn't had a big day. In fact, Chris Judd's probably taken his spot at the present time, but 5 minutes, give him a crack.
Harris. Judd. Armstrong. Unkind bounce. Kerr. Armstrong dropped it. Sansbury. Harvey outside of the foot. Dangerous area to kick it. And the mark taken by Hunter. I think Archer thought one of his teammates was coming in to get that. Kick just off direction a little. Schofield got a hand on it. Smith. Schofield lays the tackle on Simpson. Back to Smith from Green's hand. He dropped it. Hanson dives in. Watt steals it back. Sinclair to Hale into trouble. Diving through McMahon. Can't shrug the tackle. Took them on. And the umpire might be forced to ball this up.
And every time you see Chris Judd going for the footy afterwards, he just looks as if he's in a bit of pain.
Very sore.
Tragic tale. From the ball up. Swallow. Rawlings to Pratt. Not a lot to go to, and that's about as good a place as any. Can play on quickly. The leads come. Daniel Wells is on the move. He'll really have to motor. He does. The former WA boy kicks it wide, though, and it's a little too wide, although Sansbury gathers it just inside the line. Bounce pass to Sinclair. Back into the corridor. Archer at half forward. Good fist from Hunter. Critis. Archer through traffic with no one to handle to. Wirapunda. Cox. Hunter. Schofield. He looks poised every time he gets it. He did well then. Judd. Waiting for players to get back. Looks up and goes to his old partner Cousins. He wants to go wide. and does to Stengline, who's held up.
Tell play on the umpire, I'm not sure why.
Over the top to Jones. Caught by Swallow. Dragged down, that's ball. And the crowd know it. It's just lifted another gear this game. Pratt.
I reckon the Kangaroos have lifted, but the Eagles look like they're just trying to manage their way to the win.
Moran, 106 to 96. It's a 10-point game. Getting back, Hunter. Got a hand on it. Hearn. Glass. Hunter. And now we're a pundit. Seaby. Selwood. Hunter. But into trouble. Forced to go all the way back, but good option to Rosa. Thought about the 1-2. Jones just hacks it long. Judd can't jump. Gets up, but not high. Cox, the crumb, not his forte. Oh, yes, it is. That is as good as it gets from the big man.
Well, they've managed it pretty well on that occasion.
That was
Just on Cox, why he's such an outstanding ruckman is that he has had more possessions. Forget what he's done in the air and in the ruck, and even on the goal line. But he's had more possessions than all bar 3 Kangaroo players.
And he can go forward like that. I mean, he hasn't run out of the midfield. He's actually a genuine forward. But to be able to crumb it like that and kick it like that at his size makes a very dangerous player.
And they got him off the rookie list.
Great goal on cue from Dean Cox, All-Australian the last 2 years. Be a brave man not to put him in this year. 112 to 96. He's not in the ruck here. Seaby went for it. Toe poke towards half forward. Jones can't trap it, although the two Joneses tie up now. And we'll get a ball up. Brett Jones for the West Coast, of course, his brother Chad. Like Mark Lacra's brother Brent. Former Kangaroo players, both delisted after last year's season. From the ball up. Hale. Casey Green, speaking of X's. To Hale. Thomas can't mark.
Good game by Shannon Hearn.
Prittis.
He's impressed.
To Seaby. Caught by Thomas. Dispossessed. Rawlings. Big bounce this, and Rawlings traps it. Hands it up. It'll come back.
Oh, yeah, he thought the first part of the advantage wasn't an advantage. Unfortunately, it escaped further to be a real advantage. Now they've been disadvantaged.
Thomas wide to McIntosh, who can run to 50. Hits the top of the square. Petrie's down there. Jones is down there. And Seaby's down there. Selwood.
That's a good exit.
Hanson. With precision. Just slice their way to the wing. That kick not so good. Tough for Lynch. Boundary line looming. And he holds it up. We've ticked into time on final term. And Ferrito gets in front and marks and takes off. Still time for the Kangaroos. 112 to 96. Ferrito all the way through the middle. Pops it inside 50. Hoping for Archer. Thump clear, but he comes hard. So does Glass. To Cousins. To the wing. Adam Simpson, captain of the Kangaroos. Rosa. Crowd wanted ball. Got a little handball or a kick away. And Simpson dragged across. Will get a ball in.
In all of this, there must be some serious concern about Judd.
Well, I think we just all saw it there. Just the fact that he couldn't even gather enough speed to put the chase on Ferrito. And then he's basically just hobbling back to the goal square.
Rawlings, Sinclair, Jesse Smith toward Jones. Crunched, dumped. No free for Jones. Thomas, he wobbles it inside 50. Rapunda about to pounce.
This bloke's been a star today, is Hunter.
Back to Rapunda. Braun. Can't trap it. Swallow can. He's got Harvey short. Oh, he went to Sinclair. Caught high.
Slipped into it.
He dropped into the tackle. Jones still down. Moran at half forward. Thinks about bombing it. It's a wobbler. Play on. Thomas tries to knock it on. Stengline to Kerr. And they've got the numbers. Hanson. It's a little shepherd from Lynch. In fact, Lynch peels off instead. Rapunda. And time now against the Kangaroos.
Well, they're not going in because there's no one to go to. People are watching. There's just no option in there.
Kerr to Rosa. Slips it back. Possession number 28. That was for Rosa. And now Lynch.
Glove's going to
from
come
53 out is within range. That's the signal, is it, Jared?
It is. If ever he was going to have a shot, from out here it goes.
Well, it's well within his range. It's only 70.
With 65 goals, 33 last year, including the 3 in the grand final win. And it's on between Petrie and Selwood. In the meantime, all eyes on Quentin Lynch. It's been a tough, hard contest this afternoon. From 70, that is a massive launch toward goal. Almost bounced through. Hansen couldn't get a kick away. Staker, Armstrong keeps it alive. Wirapunda, one hand mark.
Magical from the Wirra.
He hasn't had a punishing day, has he? Hasn't done all that much, but might put the cream on the cake at the finish.
Shepparton boy back in his old home state, and he a chance to seal the victory for the West Coast.
And boys, just Chris Judd's just come straight off the ground now.
So Judd on the bench. Inside 4 minutes to full time. Put down your glasses. It's over.
Well, it's been a hard-fought victory, David. I think the Eagles, they'd be thrilled to get the points, disappointed after last week's result. And they've been challenged a couple of times. They've played some good footy, but I think they've also, you know, I think they've taken the foot off the pedal a couple of times, which is something that the coach will be looking at. But they've blooded a couple of other youngsters as well.
I think they'd be very, very happy, not only with the result, but the manner which they've got about it, because they have been challenged and have risen to the challenge each time.
From the ball up, ball knocked down towards the 2-4s. Kerr beats Harris to Cousins to Kerr. Stenglein just mopping up the seconds now. They've got the 4 points wrapped up. They'll be equal second on the ladder tonight, the West Coast. And Wirapunda slides in, can't mark. Harvey, McIntosh, stolen by Wirapunda. 2 pieces of magic within a minute, and he finds Hansen.
Well, I reckon that's his future in footy for mine, David. Wirapunda up in the forward 50, so creative, genuine goal kicker. And he can always go back, but this to me is where he does the damage.
Yeah, I reckon so. I mean, he was good early in the role that they designated for, but once they picked him up and made him accountable, he disappeared out of the game.
What a draft 2001 was for the West Coast Eagles. Hansen, Judd, Seaby, got Sampi as well in that draft, of course, pick 6. He's missed to the near side, Ashley Hansen, on near behind.
I think Cox on the rookie list that year as well.
Quentin Lynch might have been on the rookie list from memory, so fair draft.
And the torpedo of the day.
80-metre kick. It only comes off if one of your teammates get it. Swallow does, and he's been swallowed by Selwood, who drags him down. Get a ball up.
He gets a lot inside, but unlike Harris, who gets a good result, Swallow doesn't sort of get clear. He doesn't able to get his arms clear and get some effective work out of that.
With a tough performance from both teams. Finals-like game. Harvey extracts it, kicks to half forward. Hale clean bowled by it. Petrie.
Been good.
Out of trouble. Inside 50. But attacking it, Jones. Well played. Handed it off. Missed the target.
He too's had a great year, Jones, for the Eagles.
Sinclair from 50 lines up for a consolation prize. He gets it.
Well, they've not been disgraced, and they've stuck at it, and we keep underestimating their capacity to even goal at this stage. I'm just wondering what they take home out of today's game, Jared. I mean, would they be satisfied or terribly disappointed? I'm not sure where they sit here. You'd like to think they get to top 4, maybe because we're selfishly hoping West Coast don't, but I'm not sure what they take away from the day.
It's an interesting question you pose.
119 to 102. This will be 2 losses in a row for the Kangaroos. That's the downside for the Roos, the downside for the West Coast Eagles. Still that big question mark about Chris Judd's fitness. And the ball up. What a fine Pritis has been. Kicks inside 50. Lynch, number taken today. It's the downside for the West Coast as well. McMahon on the end of the handball. It's tied up. Hansen pulls it away. Rolls it on. LeCras hasn't had a big afternoon, and it stays that way. How does play on the full? So 2 losses in a row for the Kangaroos, and they've got Geelong here at the Telstra Dome next week, the top team on the ladder. Then games against Carlton and the Bulldogs also here at the Dome. To the wing. Off hands. Stengline. Glass. They've been solid in defence. Kerr to Lynch.
Kick.
Who spears it to Hansen. Would have been harder to get out of the way of that than Market. Hansen from 60. Kicked an audacious goal earlier this term.
Wirra could talk from here. Send one home, Wirra.
Okay.
Put on a show, mate.
It's for old time's sake.
Well, the siren's going down. Nothing to lose.
Yeah, he's now made up his mind. They got
Called to play on. He goes the top. It's big. It's all the way to the square. Armstrong can't mark it. Knocked down. Hale. Braun.
That's where he made it blue. He should have said to the umpire, I'm having a shot.
Give me a bit more time.
He would have got his 20 seconds.
I think what it does independent, if we're being honestly and fair and objective about it, is that West Coast is still the A grade.
Yeah.
And while they've got better and better, the Kangaroos, they're still B pluses.
Or is it A plus and A? Because
well, it might be that.
They're still pretty good, the Kangaroos, and they could still finish second. Hale, Sinclair is playing out the final minute. Glass, that'll do, off the shin.
I think the biggest question, David, is what grade do you give the Eagles with Judd playing as a forward pocket as against the Superman that he has been over the last 5 years?
But we're not going to have him. Let's judge it on that. Now,
That's the
whatever
point.
happens, he's never. In this season, I would suggest get back to what we know he can do. So you've got to play on the basis of what he's going to deliver from this point on.
Yep.
It's been a grand victory away from home for the reigning premiers, who are equal second on the AFL ladder, with 3 rounds of the home and away season left to play. Chris Judd, the question mark, and Quentin Lynch to face perhaps a suspension this week. But Braun, what a big week for him it's been. He'd be happy to have got it over and done with. He's had more press than ever, Braun. But he was spectacular again against the odds this afternoon, Michael Braun. 20 possessions. Ben Cousins coming good at the right time. And they're going to be tough to beat in September. They were mighty tough to beat this afternoon. The Kangaroos couldn't do it. The West Coast by 17 points.
Big D Cox, well, he has just put together another magnificent match. Michael Braun, so unjust that he had to wake up and all of a sudden find himself embroiled in what was a national controversy. But he'll be pretty pleased over to put this week to bed with a victory.
And was a very competent player throughout the day. I think in the finish, though, Jared, at both ends of the ground, both teams were pretty good, but in the middle of the ground, when it really counted, they can deliver the ammunition and the armoury like nobody else in the competition, and that's probably what happened again today.
One of the big-name West Coast players is downstairs with Rowan Smith.
Well, David, a big game today. You got over the line, they threw everything at you.
Yeah, it's one of those games. I mean, the Kangaroos are a proven team now, and don't understand why everyone tips against them, but they're just spirited, and we had to be on our best game, and it's nothing better than to see where we're at to play teams like that this time of the year.
You're a little bit disappointed last week. I spoke to John Morsfeld before the game. He said you addressed a few situations and you rectified that today.
Yeah, it's just more so playing our intensity football in 4 quarters, and that was the only thing that was missing last week, and we wanted to make sure we rectify that and make sure we finish off the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Congratulations, go and enjoy the win.
Thank you. Just want to say a respect to Ernie Dingo and the family back home, sending our love there.
No worries, thanks Dave.
And what a great worker for the Indigenous community he has been. David Selwyn Barralong Murrungwai Galloway Weil Wirrapunda is his full name. And he has been a great contributor to this magnificent West Coast Eagles club, who are victorious away from home this afternoon by 17 points. 17-17, 119 for the Kangaroos. 15-12, 102.